social distance. We didn't go out to eat. The restaurants were still open, but they were doing the curbside stuff. And now they're open, but they have distance between the customers, the patrons of the restaurants. And on my way down here in Colorado, that was the same way. They've really separated people in restaurants, which, it's good. But we've been in this thing for a year, and I got tired of it. So last year, I was down in Arizona, same vicinity, and I went to Quartzsite. Quartzsite is a ham fest in Arizona, and it's out in the desert. A bunch of people get together, a bunch of hams get together in their campers and RVs, and they do seminars out in the desert. It's really well put together, really well thought out. It lasts a week, and you get to meet a lot of people. So that was right before all this started with the pandemic. And then afterwards, I got home and I started looking at my camper and thinking of ways to improve it for operating, because I saw so many guys out there in the desert with their outfits and their stations, and I wanted to be able to do something like it. So I've been working on my camper since then. I still got some to do on it, but I'm pretty happy with it right now. Pretty satisfied with it. And let me show you where I'm at. I'm going to try to share the screen right here, and you're going to have to enable that, Andy. Oops. Okay, I'm going to share the screen. Let me pick out the one where it is. Must be this one. And you won't find this on my YouTube website, Ham Radio with K0PIR. This one is on my personal channel, and I just uploaded it because it is a drone shot of where I'm camping right now, and it's Bisbee, Arizona. Can you hear that, Andy?
No, it's got no audio, Rich.
It looks stunning, though.
Yeah.
Let me see.
That's better. That's better.
Boy, that was kind of loud. Are y'all still able to hear me?
Yep, certainly are.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm doing a screen share, so I don't see you right now. I just see my screen, and I'm gonna go ahead and go over to the antenna launcher. And when I'm operating portable, I always try to pick a place that has trees, but as you saw out in the desert in the Wild West, they don't have very many trees. They have some small trees, shrubbery, but nothing, even 20 or 30 feet high. So this antenna launcher, I used this when I was camping in the forest, and it works really good if you have trees around. You put your antenna up there so you can really get out. And I've really had a good time with it. And on my web page, on my website, K0PIR.us, if you go to portable operation in the categories, you'll find articles like this. And this is the antenna launcher, and I call it the doggone antenna launcher because it just works so doggone good. And the caliber that it shoots are 22 blanks, and the dummy, this orange thing. Can you see my mouse on here?
Yes, no problem.
Yes.
No problem.
Okay. This one's white, but the dummy, I've got an orange one. It's made out of foam so the dog can grab it and bring it back to you. But I put a bolt in it. This is what guys are doing, putting weights in the top of it and then sealing it up. And I did a great job here with duct tape. I'll fix anything. And it's just about the right weight. I think I've got the size of the bolt that I put in there in this article. And I'm going to go down here. This is at home in a park, and I'm using my Elecraft KX2. And for QRP operation, like John was saying, the antenna is really important. The radio, it matters, but the antenna really matters. A friend of mine, his quote is antenna, 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 buy an antenna. And for me, it is going out and getting the antenna. It's a wire. That's all it is a wire. It's I'm using a 9-to-1 un on it, but I just want to get it up as high as possible. All right, perfect. Well, I got my little station here set up, my Elecraft KX2, my HP Stream laptop, and I'm running the KX2 utility, just to sync CQ. And it will decode also whatever the KX2 decodes, it'll decode it. And my antenna, pretty high up in that tree. I think that's a 50-foot wire, 51-foot random wire. So yeah, that's up there probably 60, 65 feet. But of course it's only going up about 50 feet. Okay, so I'm using a 9-to-1 un and then wire, and I'm sure you've seen lots of guys using that kind of antenna with a QRP rig, and it just works really well. I've had great success with it. When I put the antenna up, I'll get on a frequency where I know some people, net maybe that I'm familiar with, and I'll call somebody on that net. And 9 times out of 10, I get somebody that returns my call. And it's because of the antenna. That's the thing that's changed, the antenna here, and the height of the antenna. So that was one. You didn't get a real good view of shooting it. And this is what it looks like. Oh, this is my partner here. This is what it looks like. And I'm going to stop the screen share. Yeah. Okay. Now I can see y'all. This is what it looks like. And this is the dummy. And I've got my string wrapped around it. This is diving. That green is diving rope. And it's really good for getting this stuff over tree limbs. That pink rope, that's just construction rope, and it's just real cheap, so I use it. And this is the steel part of it. You open it up and you put the 22 shell in here and close it up, And this is the plunger. And if you're holding it up in the air and you let this go, it's pretty loud. It will deafen me for, 3 or 4 minutes if I don't have my earplugs in. Even with my earplugs, it's still pretty loud. And yeah, my dog doesn't like it. My dog will, he's okay with fireworks, but this thing, he doesn't like it all. He's just really hesitant of it. So let me go back to screen share, and I'll show you a little bit better what that looks like. And this is a video in the Black Hills of South Dakota. Lots of trees. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna aim it right up there. Wow. Okay, were y'all able to hear that?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, brilliant.
Okay. So I didn't have to do anything that time. Come on, B. Well, it's Wednesday morning, and we had a little bit of rain last night. I put up my awning. And that inverter V I put up worked good on 10 meters. Yesterday I made quite a few contacts on FT8. That seems about the best mode for being out here. I was trying to make contacts on CW last night and didn't get anybody. I guess everybody's on FT8 now. I even tried PSK31. Pretty nice morning, and we're supposed to have a storm coming in and flash flood warning. I'm kind of hoping it'll go around us and we don't get any high wind. That's why I put the awning up. So today I'm going to use this doggone antenna launcher, and that's what I call it. Doggone antenna launcher, and what it is a dog trainer, basically. It's from DT Systems, and I got a link on my website. I added a weight to the top, and I don't remember what weight it is. I'm using a medium load. It shoots these 22 blanks, and this is from the yellow box. I think it's a medium load, but it's the yellow box, and it'll shoot it up probably 50 or 60 feet, maybe higher. To load this thing, just take that back. Put the shell in there, and then close it up. I want to turn that away from you when you shoot it, and they tell you to hold it down here, and I can't hold it down there and shoot it, so I hold it up here and shoot it and aim it for where I want it. It's a little loud, so Mr. B, stand back there, buddy. Well, as I was about ready to add some more line to this, I noticed that the cord was kinking up, and that's not good. So I need to lay this out more, and probably the best place is on this road. So I think from right here I can probably aim it up on that limb, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add some more line to this and then lay it out in rows. Biscuit! He's down there. He couldn't get across the cattle guard, so he's going around. He's far enough away. I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot. So I got it laid out and left my big spool attached just in case. Let's see what happens. I'm going to aim it right up there.
Did you see that? I just got one little limb. Holy cow. Come on, Mr. B. Come on. Good boy. Yeah. I'm glad you were down there, buddy. That was loud, wasn't it? Yeah, man. Holy cow. People might think I'm hunting back here.
So I did get that antenna up in the tree, and I think just about every time I've used it, I've been able to get a wire up into a tree. Sometimes, every once in a while, the wind will blow the dummy away from the tree, and I have to do it again. But 2 shots at the most. I don't think I've ever had to do it 3 times, and that just makes it so much easier for me. And I've tried everything. I tried the bow and arrows, and I'm not very good at that. It just didn't work very well. And that dummy is heavy enough, it'll come back to the ground, and it hasn't gotten stuck in a tree yet. It's come close, but it's heavy enough, it'll get through the tree. I got it taped up at the end, and I'm going to have to figure out something else. I'm going to have to sew it up, because that bolt came loose. One time I shot it up and the bolt flew out. So duct tape's not, it's not 100%. But that's with my KX2, and I'm going to try something right here. Y'all have been using Zoom, and I'm not real familiar with it, but I see down at the bottom that you can raise your hand. It's reactions that you can raise your hand. What happens? Let me just ask, how many of y'all operate QRP? Raise your hand. Nobody? Oh, one. Okay. I see one. I can't see everybody. Yeah, I got to scroll over. Okay, there's 2. All right. So yeah, that works. Yeah, there's a couple right there. All right. How many people have an ICOM 7300? Because that's the other radio I use. Raise your hand if you got one of those. Let's see, Andy's got one. And is there anybody else? Scroll down here. Oh, there's somebody waving. Oh yeah, and I like that background there. That's real. that ocean behind you. That's Pete. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, and then there's another one. Patrick's waving. So yeah, that's what I use in my camper, is the ICOM 7300. And when it came out, I think I got it in April of the year that it came out. And by the time we were at field day, people were already talking about the radio, and are you gonna be able to use it, and are you gonna be able to use it in field day? The stations close together with the antennas close together, and I was able to use it. I did use it on field day, and I've used it ever since on field day. I do have to pay attention to what. Of course, you have to pay attention to what bands the other stations are on anyway. You don't want to be on the same band as another station in your group. So I just have to stay away from them, and it works really good. So that's the radio I have in my camper, is the 7300. And yeah, I just love the radio. I've got a 7610 at home, and I love that radio too. It's 7610 is a better radio. It just feels better quality. But I think the receivers on them, both of them, are probably about the same. You get dual receive with the 7610, which is nice. It's real nice. But in a camper, the 7300, yeah, I can't think of a better radio. So let me go back to a screen share. And get that. I've got pictures of this antenna. This is the antenna that I use on the back of the camper. It's mounted there permanently. It's a high Q antenna, and I don't know if you're familiar with that, but you can Google it, high Q, HI-Q, and it is it's one of the better antennas made. The Tar Heels are really good. The Scorpion is really good, and the high Q. And of course, they're the most expensive. Let's take a look at that that high Q. And on here, I was operating portable in Iowa, and using the high Q. I've got a list of what I use to mount it on the back of my camper with, and it is grounded to the frame through the bumper. I've got some flat braid up at the top that's connected to the mast, and then the mast is connected to the bumper, and the bumper is connected to the frame with some more braid, copper braid. So I think I've got it as best that I can do it. But it is a great great antenna. One of the nice things about it is it doesn't move up and down.
Okay, and I wanted to show you my high Q.
It doesn't move up and down like the Tar Heels. There's a plunger inside that moves up and down, so it doesn't change height. And when I have it for traveling, I know that I'm safe going underneath bridges.
Antenna, I've got it mounted on a mast here that I got at Menards. It's just conduit, and another one sliding into it. So all I have to do when I get ready to travel is take this pin out and lower it and secure it with the pin. When I get to where I'm going, just raise it up, secure it with the pin, and it's ready to go. It's pretty simple. It's been working really good. I've got some wires I got to take care of up there. I hooked it up temporarily to make sure everything was working, and I'm going to go back and splice them, make it look a little bit better and seal it up better. But so far it's been working great. Got the
So that is the antenna. That's the antenna that I go to when I'm traveling. If I pull over at a rest area, I can just raise that antenna up and operate out of my camper. When I'm tired of driving, that's what I do. I take a nap and turn on the radio. So that works really well. I've got a Tar Heel that's on the back of my another vehicle that I have, and it works really well. I get great reports on it. It's a Tar Heel 200A, and it just gets fabulous reports. This HiQ gets good reports, but when I put up the inverted V I have for 80 meters, I'm on 80 meters a lot in the evening, early in the morning. When I put up an inverted V, the inverted V always beats it. It's just a better antenna, at least for that band, and it always puts out better. So I will go with the inverted V cut for 80 meters over the HiQ, pretty much any time. And that's why I want to get. I've got a flagpole, and I'll show it to you later, because there aren't trees here in the desert. And I'm using a flagpole that's attached, and I put that inverted V up on it. Let me go back to the screen share. And I think that was it on there. So when I get to where I'm going and I find out where I'm going to camp, one of the things that I look for, everybody talks about location. My friend says antenna, 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 and I say location, 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 because I want a place that I can put up an antenna, and that's what I'm looking for when I'm camping, is a place to raise an antenna, whether it's a tree. If I have to use my flagpole, I want a place where I can mount my flagpole and it's not going to blow over. I don't have any guy wires for it. It's 30 feet. And it's been pretty good so far. It did run into trouble last night. It was really windy here, 30, 40 mile an hour winds. And it broke one leg of my antenna off. So I'll have to repair that, but it's not a big deal. I look for areas that have cell signals, phone signals. I want to be able to talk to people, my friends, some of my ham friends I talk to on the phone. They text me, so I want cell service. Like I said, I want a place where I can raise an antenna, and I want it quiet. If I'm close to other RVs, the other RVs create noise in the radio. It's interference and just hash. and it's really hard to weed that out if you're too close to them. If I get pretty far away from them, I don't have any trouble. And the way that I get around my camper and the noise that it makes is I've got ferrite on. I've probably got 2 pounds of ferrite on these control cables and everything, trying to eliminate that. And I've worked out a deal where if I'm connected to shore power, I reach over because my converter makes so much noise into the radio. If I'm connected to shore power, I just reach over and I flip off the main circuit breaker, and that quiets everything down. I've noticed the light bulbs in these campers, they're terrible. Some of them are they're so bad that I can't operate. So I've replaced the light bulbs in here, some of them, the ones that were giving me problems. But when I'm out and I don't have a tree, I use the flagpole. And again, I'm using on this one 9-to-1 un. I had a 1-to-64 un, and it was causing me trouble. It wasn't doing what I wanted, so I just swapped it out and put this one up. And I think it's about 41 or 49 feet of wire attached to that one, or 50 feet. I'm not sure if I got that number right or not. 49, 50 feet. I go to a website to look for these random wire links, and I think the location is, well, I'll have to find it. But there's a gentleman that's got a website out, VE3EED, I think. He's got the links. He's already worked them out, the links for a random wire, and I stick to what he uses. I've tried different links, and I find one that works good. I stick with it, at least for a while. This is one of the trees I put the antenna up in, and it was pretty far up there. That was the inverted V. There's a couple of legs coming down here, and the center is about right here in the tree. So it's up there pretty high. And one of the other tools I use besides that antenna launcher is an antenna analyzer. And I bought one, it's a Mini 60. It's pretty cheap. I think it was about, it was less than $100. And it works okay. I've been using it ever since. I carry it in my camper, and I even use it at home. But it does a good job of analyzing the low SWR point on the antennas, and I can make adjustments from there. So that's what I use it for, is to adjust the length of the wire. And let's go down here. These are some wire antennas.
Well, here we go. Another trip into the Black Hills over on the Wyoming side. And I'm getting ready to put this random wire up in that tree right there. I think that'll be a good one. I'll have it up high enough so that if anybody goes down this road, they won't get tangled in it. Got a beautiful spot here. There's some smoke from the fires in California, but yeah, you can see past those trees over there. Boy, yeah, can't see very far, maybe a couple of miles. So I'm gonna put my antenna up in this tree, and that looks like it's about 50 feet. I've got a different grain blank for this antenna launcher. It's the high, it's the red. I believe that's the high. And I think the yellow that I'm using right now today is the low. So I haven't tried the red yet. I'm kind of afraid. I mean, this shoots it up so high it can get away from me. Mr. B's in the camper. He really wanted to come outside, but this thing hurts his ears. Heck, it hurts my ears, and I use the plugs. Better get a good spot here. Let's try to get it right over the center of that tree. test it. Okay, there's a little bit of wind and it'll carry this thing. So, try to wait for the perfect moment. Yep, that's a good shot. Caught the edge of it. That's good enough for that random wire. Yeah, that'll work fine. Okay, man, I thought I was gonna be able to stretch it out pretty tight, but it's not gonna do that for me. Let's see. There we go. I'm gonna sag in there a little bit, but what are you gonna do?
Okay, and let me get back to here. The the random wire, you know, I use it with my ICOM 7300, and it works just, you know, it just works fantastic. I couldn't be happy with it. I've got one right now, and I think it was that one that is 9-to-1, and I think it was 41 or 49 feet of wire, and it's just perfect for 40 through 6 meters. I can tune up on all those using the internal tuner of the 7300, and that's good because I don't have to have an external tuner or carry that around with me. So I like to be able to keep the SWR down and use the internal tuner whenever I can. So the other tool that I wouldn't be caught without anymore is that antenna analyzer, and I know there are other ones out that are really good. I bought this one probably a couple of years ago when they were popular, the SARC 100 Mini 60s, and they're from China. The guy that I got it from on eBay was very helpful. He took refunds, so I put a link to his web page on eBay, and people bought them and they use them, and some people had trouble with the Bluetooth and getting it going, but I find that I don't really use the Bluetooth. It just takes too long to get set up, and you know, to read it. It's easier for me just to look at the front of it, and I've got it in here.
Rich, can I just check that K0PIR isn't waiting to ask a question? He's got his hand up still.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I think he had it up for. Yeah, he might have had it up for something. This is the Mini 60. Yeah, go ahead.
Did you want a question?
No, I've got no questions. That's been left over from earlier on. Sorry.
No worries. Keep going, Rich.
Yeah, we'll get some questions here at the end, and you can have my email address and you can ask me questions. This is the Mini 60, and it's so easy to use. You just hook the antenna up to it, turn it on, and put it on the band, and it'll find, you scan it, and it'll find the low point. So then I go out, you know, adjust the antenna and come back in, do it again until I get it right. I'm a one-person operation, so this thing is really helpful. I know there's another one out there. Somebody was just talking about it the other day in the QST magazine, and he said it was about $50 and that it worked real good. I didn't see it in QST, but I'm going to have to look and see what he was talking about. So I could use another one. I could leave one at home and then take one out in the camper. If they break, if I lose it, it's not a real big deal. I'm not going to cry over it. So let me go back to the screen share, and I'll show you that Mini 60 here and what it looks like. There it is, and it worked on my my Kindle, and actually Bluetooth worked on the Kindle and it, so it did work. But like I said, I don't use the Bluetooth. Let me go down here. I've got some files on here that I was using specifically for it, but I do have a video and you can see what it looks like. I don't think this, yeah, that's not the page I was looking at, but we'll just go ahead and do this.
Hey guys, welcome to Ham Radio with K0PIR and my YouTube channel. I had a subscriber ask a little bit more about the Mini 60 and Bluetooth specifically. The Bluetooth is working on mine, and I can use it with my Samsung Galaxy S7. I can also use it with my Kindle. I just choose not to use it when I'm out in the field or outside because it's just a little bit of a pain to get going. And I just don't need that much information. I don't need the graphic information when I'm outside, but it is kind of nice to have. Some people want to use it, so the Bluetooth app does work. I know people have had trouble with it. There may be a problem with your phone. It may not want to pair up with the Mini 60, or you got the wrong application. It could be a variety of issues. I'll put some links on mine, and I'll do another video on the Bluetooth. But if you can't get the Bluetooth working, you can always connect the cable to the Mini 60, and I'll show you how I did it. Okay, with the Mini 60, there is a mini, what is it, a Mini B USB connector on it. And I just happen to have one of those cables laying around. It's got a Mini B and then a USB that plugs into the computer. When I did that and I turned on the Mini 60, I went to the PC link and hit the down button, and it's waiting for the link right now. It came up as USB serial port COM8 on my computer. And this software is just an exe file. I downloaded it. I'll put a link below. I downloaded it and dragged it into a folder, and I put a shortcut here on my desktop so I can just start it up and go to COM8. That's the one, and then hit the connect button. And one time I got a little dialog box that asked me about the COM port. That time it didn't pop up. I've got a tri-bander it's hooked up to right now, high gain PH2 MK3 20, 15 and 10 meters. So let's hit the start scan and see what it does. There it goes. It's tuned for the general portion of the band. And when I pull that antenna down and I retune it for the extra portion of the band, I can use this Mini 60. I can take...
Okay, let me stop the share there. All right. Yeah, like I said, it saved me so much time, and it really wasn't that much money. I don't think it saved me more. It's just so much worth it. It's just so well worth the money. I can't tell you how many times I've run back and forth just guesstimating in my head, how much I should trim an antenna when I'm out in the field. And this thing just takes out all the guesswork. I still have to guess a little bit, but it really it lets me know where I'm at. So I found it to be pretty accurate. I haven't had any trouble with it. It seems to be pretty much in correlation with my 7300. The 7300 has a SWR graph on it that you can use, and it seems to be pretty accurate. They seem to be synced together. It's not that far off, so I've been pretty happy with it. So between it and that dog launcher, those are two things I just don't leave home without. And let me see. I'll go back to the screen share. And the laptop that I use, John was saying he's going to put together a Raspberry Pi with the OS. Who has that OS? K0PIR.
KM480K.
Right. And I've heard about that.
Build-a-Pi, Rich.
Yeah. And I've got one. I've got one in the camper. I was thinking about doing it while I'm out here, but I have used it at home, and I did use it in the camper once or twice, but I didn't have his software on it. I was using oh gosh, I can't think of the name of it. The logging software, which was really hard to get going on it, but with a little bit of work, it finally worked. Yeah, I'll think of the name later. But anyway, I bought a cheap laptop, and I was trying to keep it under $100. And this was about $100, the HP Stream, and it worked. I still got it, and it still works well. I just bought this new laptop because I wanted something faster, but it's cheap, and it had enough USB ports. It had two USB ports, a card reader, and I forget what else. But it was just a Celeron, dual core processor, so it wasn't very fast. I was just loading ham software on it, and it worked okay. I was running Log for the Old Man on it, FL Digi, WSJTX, and I still got a bunch of other ones. N1MM was on it, and a bunch of other ones that I tried. But I was just keeping the basic ham software on it. And this is my Elecraft KX2, and I was using the DX Lab and Wind Warbler. With the Elecraft KX2, Wind Warbler will decode what comes across the LCD on the radio. So when it's decoding CW, it'll send it to the screen, and it doesn't require an extra cable. It just takes the serial cable, the programming cable for the Elecraft. So that was kind of neat. And I still use it. I just put up a video a couple of weeks ago, a week ago, using the KX2 and my four-wheeler. I didn't have my little laptop with me, but I could take it with me on my four-wheeler. And like I said, if I destroy it, if it gets wet, it's not going to be too big of a deal. I won't lose any sleep over it. But anyway, that's the laptop I was using. Now the one I'm using today is a Microsoft Go, and they have different ones. There's the Surface Pro, and then there's the Surface Go, and the Surface Go has an attached keyboard. I had a Surface Pro at one time, and I didn't like separating the keyboard from the screen or from the tablet. So I got the Surface Go laptop, and it's an i5. It's got 8 gigs of memory, and it's got a small hard drive, 128 gigabytes, but I don't need that much for the ham software. I haven't, I think I've probably used about half of it. So I'm pretty good. I can still, download pictures or do some editing on it if I need to. But the laptops, that HP Stream, hadn't had any problems with, and I even used VNC on the HP Stream to connect to my Raspberry Pi, and that worked pretty good. Let's see. I'm going to go back to this, share the screen. And talk about the software a little bit. This is the software I've been using. This is what I go to every time that I'm out here. Whether it was on the stream or on this computer, it's Log for the Old Man, WSJTX, and Grid Tracker. Like I mentioned that one video, it seems like everybody's on FT8. So if I want to make contacts, I do it using WSJTX and FT8, and I'll make tons of contacts. you can't have a conversation. So that's a little, that's kind of a bummer, but that's what that software is for, is to make the contacts quickly. And another program that I've been using, I've been pretty happy with, is JS8 Call. And I didn't care for it at first, but I gave it a little bit of time. And now that I have it on this laptop, I really like it. And it is more like PSK31. It's a little bit slower when you're using the slow mode, but I like it. And JS8 Call goes good with Log for the Old Man. And I didn't hook up Grid Tracker to it. I don't think that Grid Tracker would be much use with it, but it sure does work well with WSJTX. And I'll go down here. I love the screen on Grid Tracker. And Andy was mentioning it, maybe somebody from the team would be here. I guess they didn't make it, but I've got all the information on my website to get it hooked up, and screen captures. And this is let's see, that's configuring it. Let's see what this is.
The way to do it, I log is, if you've watched my last video on Log for the Old Man, I threw in WSJTX. And Log for the Old Man and WSJTX works really good. But I like to have something else to point out the contacts that I need, either the grid squares that I'm chasing, or the states, or the DX that I'm chasing. And one alternative is Grid Tracker. And Grid Tracker came out a while back, mainly as a companion program for WSJTX, but it's evolved to be much more than that. But today I'm going to show you how I have it integrated with WSJTX and Log for the Old Man. So let's get started. Okay, well, here I've got Log for the Old Man to the settings, and that is right here. It's these little gears. And again, I'm offline. That's why my map looks like that. Go to settings and the WSJTX open, and it's decoding, and you're not decoding anything or receiving anything, and something's wrong. It's probably that UDP port. Maybe it's blocked by something. Make sure there's nothing else that could be taking that port. So you should be decoding, receiving. You'll see the RX calls here. That's what I've received live, so I can erase it, and it goes to 0. And if I want to clear the DX, I can just clear that. Now I'm live right now, and you see a bunch of other ones popped up here on the map. So I can change that, put the little balloons on. Let's go back to the grid square. There you go. And these colors, they go with this legend down here. The green is somebody calling CQ, and this blue is somebody that I'm hearing. Here's some more blue out here. And the RX calls, they're increasing right now. I'm decoding more. So in this box, the band I've usually have set to auto, the mode auto, propagation mixed, and then the data live, because I'm offline. And if I wanted to show my logbook, I could do that, and that will show me where I have some contacts. But I like to go to I like to stay in the live view, and that's just what I'm hearing. And then these icons, you can go through them and play around. This is the open call roster and square. I'm going to take a look at the scope up here, the wide graph. I'm in a free spot over here, so I can go ahead and give him a call. Oh, there's one. He's in Cuba. And when I clicked on that call sign, I started transmitting. And you can see I'm calling him. I'm up here in South Dakota, and I'm calling him way down here. Let's see if he didn't come back to me, so I'm going to go ahead and halt it. And notice when I halted it, it backed off. Let me go ahead and toggle this, and there's the other map. That's a nice looking map. That's the default. So I am online. Let me see. Let me go over to 20 meters. Because there's not a whole lot of activity. I can look up here. And there's a lot more activity, it looks like, on 40 meters right now. So let's go up to 40 meters. I'm looking at this graph. Let's go up to 40 meters and see what's going on. And I'm going to hit my tune. Going to erase it. Clear it. All right, well, there's a couple that came in, so I'm just gonna double click on him. I see him over here. I can double click and return the call. Let's see. So I got 2 of them calling me, and it's showing each one of them. This is W8RJC, and this is the Kilo India 4, and he's down here. So he's calling me. There's a little circle there, and that indicates he's the calling station. He's the one transmitting right now. I'll go ahead and click OK. And there was another station in there, W8. Go ahead and give him a call. He sent a 73, so I'm going to go ahead and call the W8 station, W8RJC. And that logging window popped up pretty quick. I'll pause here and show you what it looks like. Same window that in WSJTX that you always have. Okay, yeah, I'm putting out 50 watts. I'm on the Alpha Delta. It's not real good conditions this morning. You know, well, that's a pretty strong signal from me. I sent him a minus 14. It's still had a pretty strong signal in there. So that's the way to do it. Okay, I'll stop the share there. And that's the software that I use when I'm out here in the camper. I use Log for the Old Man, Grid Tracker, WSJTX, FLDigi, and JS8 Call. That's what I've been using this trip. And it all works well. The Grid Tracker works whether you're online or not. And the map just looks different, but it does work. And you're actually the stations that you see in Grid Tracker are the stations that you're hearing. So, you know, my idea is if I can hear them, I should be able to work them. If my antenna is up high enough, I will be able to work them. So that about does it. I can't think of anything else. I have a list of tools that I take with me because, and I'm sure all you guys do the same thing. You take tools when you go out portable. And one thing I carry with me now is one of those portable soldering irons that uses batteries. And that thing, I didn't think it would work, but it does work. I can do a little soldering out, you know, out in the field, and it comes in real handy. So I carry that with me, and I carry just a regular tool kit with me. Some solder and whatever else I think I might need, because you never know when your antenna is going to break, like last night. So with that, I think that does it. If you got any questions, I think you can go down there and raise your hand from the reactions, or do a thumbs up.
You want to go first, Pete?
You're muted.
Yeah, it's just to say am I going out? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Just to thank you, Rich, for improving my geography. I knew the Black Hills were in Dakota because Doris Day told me, but now I know they're in Wyoming as well.
They are. They are.
I think it's very good, Rich. It's kind of you to give the talk. I think it's really good to to see somebody else's take on going portable, because I know the first time I went portable, I thought I had everything, and then the second time I went portable, I had more things, and by the time I did about 4 trips out, I got the gist of it by then, because it's surprising just what you think you won't need, but you inevitably do. But I just wondered, it's probably a bit late for you now, but I just wondered if you could just explain to us about the power, because all this takes power, and you're in a trailer, albeit in a nice sunny place. So I'm assuming that you've invested in solar power, yeah?
I do, and let me go back to that. That was the next thing down. And gosh, let me go back to screen share. Good question. Thanks for the reminder. Because when I got back from Arizona last year about this time, I learned about solar from the seminars, and so I added solar to my camper, and it's just a lifesaver. It works so much better, so much easier. Somebody's mic's open. It just works so much better because when I was in Arizona last year, I had to run my generator to charge my batteries, and solar is just so much better. So I had the opportunity to see another guy put together his solar array, and he really does have a solar array. He's got it for his house, and I was watching him put it together. He went out and he bought all of the items separately. He didn't buy them all from the same company, and he didn't buy a kit. He bought the solar panels from Renogy. He bought the controller from somebody else. Of course, his cabling, his wiring came from a hardware store. A lot of his parts came from the hardware store. So he was just piecemealing it together, and he had so much trouble. It was so much of a hassle. So I decided to buy a kit. And, whether you buy a Renogy kit, I found a different company, and it has worked good for me. I bought the kit, and it had everything that I needed. It didn't have the sealant that I used on the roof, or the sealant that I used to mount the panels on the roof, but I found out, I think I got it off of eBay or Amazon. I bought the sealant and the mixture, but this kit came with everything I needed. It's got these solar panels are monocrystalline, and the monocrystalline panels are a little bit better than the polycrystalline. They're more efficient, and they cost a little bit more, but I think they're well worth it. So I got a kit that had the monocrystalline. And the other thing I learned at the seminar in Arizona was the controllers. And I wanted a smart controller, and the MPPT controller, this one that came with the kit, it's a smart controller. You can tell it what type of battery you have, and it will charge it, accordingly. And this friend of mine, he had so much trouble trying to decide the charging, how he was going to configure his controller to charge his batteries. He's using deep cell batteries, and I'm using AGM batteries. And all I had to do in mine was just select it, and from a switch, they're dip switches, selected that I'm using AGM batteries. So I installed the kit, and there's different ways. You hear guys talk about different ways to hook up your batteries. The thing that I found was I used the heaviest gauge connectors that I can, these jumpers, the heaviest gauge that I can. And I started out by making my own. I made them out of jumper cables, car jumper cables that are pretty heavy gauge, and with some copper lugs, and I could make them the length that I wanted. And this is the way that I hooked up my battery. So it's in parallel, and it's a 12-volt system. And you can see it went underneath one of my seats, and it has changed since then. but I do have a little LCD up here. It's Bluetooth. That's the other thing. That controller is Bluetooth, and it does work really well with my phone. I can connect to it right away, and I can do it while I'm outside. So if I'm out on my picnic table, I can check to see if it's charging. And so that's kind of convenient, but it was easier to put together than piecemealing everything together. And it's 200 watts, and the batteries that I have are 100 amp hour, two of them 100 amp hour AGM batteries. And they're a little bit more expensive than the deep cycle, but they'll last longer, and you can run them down to 50% and they'll charge right back up. Deep cycle marine batteries, if you run them too far down too many times, they'll lose their ability to keep a charge. So I went with the AGM, and another guy, a friend from South Dakota, he's using lithium ion batteries, and that's a whole nother it's a whole nother system. They're the best. You get them, they come out of these cars, these electric vehicles, and the guys buy them used, and they put them in their solar system. So that's when I upgrade, that's what I'll upgrade to. It's the lithium ion, and they're more expensive, but I hear that they last longer, and they'll hold their charge longer. So that's what I'll go with next time. And I've got those two solar panels on the roof, and laying flat like that, that's not optimal, but I don't really have a way to climb up on my camper and raise the solar panels when I get parked to where I am. So I just decided to lay them flat, and I've got a portable kit, and it came from the same company. It's 160 watts, and it folds out. I can put it outside my camper and connect it to my batteries inside and face it towards the sun. So when the sun's low in the morning, I've got it right outside my camper on my camper tires. It's facing the sun. And then when the sun's going down, I can move it around and point it at the sun as it's going down, and I get better charges that way. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe next time I'll do some mounts on top of my camper so I can get up there and adjust them at a 45-degree angle, so it picks up the majority of the sunlight. But that's what I've got now. It's working, and I can go all day. I've been real fortunate. The sun's been out ever since I've been here, so I don't have to run the generator, and it's a great way to do it.
Yeah, thanks, Rich. Thanks very much. Richard's got a question for you. G4HHX.
Yes, Rich, what is the difference between the Mini 60 and the Mini 100 analyzer?
I think that SARC 100, I think it was the original. And I think the Mini 60s, like we were talking about earlier, is one of the cheaper knockoffs. And it has Bluetooth. I think you could add Bluetooth later on to the SARC 100, but the Mini 60 came with it. So if you're going to search for one, those Mini 60s, they will come with Bluetooth or without Bluetooth. And the ones without Bluetooth are cheaper, but I think they're probably just a cheaper version of it. Those radios, there were some really good SDR radios that came out, and then the Chinese brought out some cheaper versions, and I've stayed away from those. I like the Elecraft KX2. I think it's built really well. I don't anticipate getting rid of it unless it's for that new ICOM 705.
Yeah, the reason I ask is I thought, I'm assuming the way you're talking, the Mini 60 is the lower spec out of the two I've mentioned. But funny enough, I've just had a look online, and the Mini 60 with you is $113. But over here, it's between 71 and 75 pounds. But the Mini 100 is only 61 pound 50 pence. So I just wonder what the difference might be. But if you say the Mini 60 is the cheaper version, so to speak, why the hell is it dearer?
Well, I think it came out. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Robin's got one. He's going to show you. Go ahead,
Sorry.
Robin.
I got this a long time ago, and it's the SARC 100. And originally, I think they were kits, and this was perhaps 5 years ago. I got this. I haven't used it properly, and it was, as I say, originally a kit. This wasn't. I bought this constructed, and it was about £50. They might have gone up a little bit, but there's no Bluetooth in this. So, as Rich says, the later version. And the Mini 60, I think, was the uprated version of this. But as I've got your attention, can I ask you a question, Rich?
Sure.
At the beginning, or quite near the beginning of your presentation, you had your helicraft on the bench outside and your wire aerial, or antenna, sorry, going over the tree. I didn't see what sort of earth system you'd got. A stake or counterpoise or none at all?
For the Elecraft, I use a counterpoise, and I carry a 13-foot one, and then I've got another one, and I can't remember. I think it's 17 feet. So I'll alternate between them, whichever one works best. Yeah, just counterpoise. And when I went out on my ATV, and I had it with me, I used the 13-foot counterpoise, and it was just laying on the ground. But it tuned up the antenna really nice.
Good, using this.
Yeah.